Welcome back to News Talk. For this half hour, we're talking about getting you, oh, it's so good when it comes to your health. And Dr. Stephen Hewson, patient advocate extraordinaire, is here to join us. During the break, we were discussing a doctor who's been dead for more than 200 years.
Yeah, and he has a lesson for us. His name was George Clemenceau, and he observed something about war. He was a physician, but when he talked about war, he said, "War is too important to be left to the generals." It's a famous quote. This past week, I was involved in two national medical meetings, and the message there is, medical care is too important to be left to the doctors. This meeting was filled with CEOs. Physicians have dropped the ball. Everyone thinks that the future of medicine is up to doctors and the healthcare system, hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, medical device companies. We dropped the ball. We no longer have control. The government, as you know, and you broadcast, is completely paralyzed when it comes to health care, damaging its citizens. So who's going to pick up the ball? The private sector. So the private sector has stood up, and like the anchor in the movie Network, they all have the same word.
I'm not going to take it anymore.
Angry as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. They're being strangled by healthcare costs. They've doubled and tripled. So what's going to happen is, private sector is going to say, we got the power, we got the bucks, and we got the means, and we got the reason to get involved in this. Medical care is wasteful. Medical care has no price transparency, competitive bidding, and the customer ain't first. The customer's last in the medical care industry. And so the business says, we're going to do something about this. And some of it's good for the consumer and some of it's not. They want you to have skin in the game. Your deductibles will be much higher. Your copays will be much greater. Some businesses will self-insure. And so it becomes very important that their employees are healthy. And they're going to get rid of your medical privacy. They're going to know your cholesterol. They're going to know your blood pressure. They're going to know your sugar. And they're going to try to get them all down. If you're heavy, they're going to make you lose weight. If you smoke, they're going to make you quit. They use incentives, bonuses, perks, higher salary, hiring and firing.
Wow.
They say it's voluntary. It ain't. Doctors know a lot about health care. They don't know a lot about health. The quickest solution we have to a patient question is a quick run to the prescription pad. You want to lose weight? Go to the gym.
And that's one of the things that always fascinates me about our talks when you come on here, is how quickly you know, the big pharma is kind of the way that it's gone. Here's a pill. What the culture? Let me rephrase that. The way that our culture has become such a pill-popping culture in terms of looking for a solution. Everybody wants that magic pill, and there's companies out there that are trying to make that magic pill, and that's why so many people are being prescribed something as opposed to a treatment of some kind.
I never had a great feeling for this whole idea of wellness, but there was one CEO in particular who said personal health is not just a personal asset, it's a wealth asset. It's a national asset. If you're healthy and retired, you'll spend $250,000 less in retirement on health care. Businesses want to save that money when you're young and working. They want you to have fewer visits to the emergency room, fewer hospital stays, fewer operations. And they're going to work hard in wellness programs. The biggest primary care provider today in the United States is Walmart.
Oh my gosh.
And we're not talking about urgent care. These are people who are doing chronic care. They say, we're not going to interfere with your private doctor. Yes, they are.
So is the key here, I know one of the things you always stress when you're here is for people to start picking up the books, getting online, and doing research about what their options are and what's out there. So they're not reliant on just the prescription pad, just the magic bullet, if you were seeing what else you can possibly do.
Yes. There's only, if there's one site only, it's easy to remember, MedPage Today. It's an app on your iPhone or iPad. You can download it anywhere. It's a dictionary, it's an encyclopedia, and it's a newspaper. You just put in a search and you'll get more information that your doctor will actually honor. Because you being healthy is not just a personal asset, it turns out it's an asset to your boss and to the country. So when you're sick, go to your doctor, but look to your boss more and more if you want to stay healthy.
Now, I'm going to ask Steve McMurray for a dietary recommendation when I got it here. But being serious, stepping back, I want to go back to being serious for a moment. You know, when it comes to the patients you've seen over the years, in your experience, how important is preventative measures, preventative health versus, this has happened, now I'm going to take this? How important is making sure you are well and healthy to begin with so these things don't happen?
The best type of prevention, and there are 4 types, is called primordial prevention. engage in lifestyles that don't put you in high-risk categories that require medications or the types of invasive examinations to forestall something that you, by your lifestyle, could have avoided. I was talking to Bill about exercise. So much evidence is coming down the line that if you're really reasonably vigorous in daily exercise 5 times a week, the incidence of Alzheimer's disease and dementia just plummets. If there's no other reason in the world to exercise, avoiding Alzheimer's disease would be enough, aside from the 50 other things you could reel right off. So not smoking, exercising, watching your weight, and as Michael Pollan, the famous author, says, eat food, not much, mainly plants, and you can make it taste good.
All right, excellent. Dr. Stephen Houston, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay,
I'm always
good to see
enlightened
you.
when you're here. I
Thank
always
you.
appreciate it. We'll be back with a recap right after the break.